I'm going to start a new Visual Basic project. I happen to be using Visual Studio Community 2015. And to do this, I'm going to do File, New, Project. I open when I first set up Visual Studio, I set it up for general um, applications or programs. So I have a list of all of choices for all of these different programming languages. If you set yours up as just Visual Basic, you probably won't see this. But I need to make sure that I choose Visual Basic, and under Visual Basic, I'm going to go over here on the right hand side, and I want a Windows Form application. So Visual Basic Windows Form application, and I'm going to call it Splash Screen. Now there's no spaces in the name, and I don't start it off with special characters or numbers, so I can give it almost any name as long as it's not a name that's already been taken. And I'm going to, for this project, I'm going to leave out Git for now. But I do need to. I'm going to leave this at the default, which is create a directory for the solution. In other words, it's going to create a folder with the name Splash Screen. And where's it going to do it at? The location. For me, it's in Visual Studio Projects on my computer. And the solution name is going to be the same as the name of this project that I've created. Okay, so that's it to get started. So I'm going to click OK. So I had mine set up for Git and GitHub, so you probably won't see this. So I need to go to Solution Explorer. I'm going to click on this tab down here. So the Solution Explorer shows the files in this project. I'm going to expand this. You see those? And I'm going to expand this so you can see the files that were created when I did this. Okay. The other thing I'm going to look at is the properties. So I'm going to make sure I've got my Form 1 selected. Oops. I accidentally double-clicked on my Form 1. So let me jump up here on the tab. It says Form 1 Design. I'm going to click on this and go back to the design. So I have my Form 1. I can see that it's selected. I've got my little pull tabs on here. So if I wanted to, I can make this, drag this out, make this a little bigger, change the size. But what I want to look at are the properties for this. So Form 1, and I'm looking at the properties, and the properties are what describe Form 1. And I'm going to make these, there's a whole list of these. You can see, I'm going to scroll down here and you can see that there's a bunch of these. But I'm going to list these alphabetically. So I'm going to click on this little icon right here. And so they're listed alphabetically. And you can see there's a lot of different things that I can change on here. I'm going to change the background color. Click on this, click the drop down, and go with a custom color. How about that one? Ugh, okay. How about something not as, a little better. Okay. So let me change the text. Right now the text is what's sitting right here, and it says Form 1, but I want to change that. I'm going to change that to Butler Zoo. How's that? And when I click off of it, it puts the text right here. Now, an important property, sometimes people get text And let me scroll up here to the top. And name confuse. Real important difference. The name is not the text. The name is what this form is, the name of this form. Right now it's form 1. I want to change that, and I'm going to call this form, if I do this, I'm going to call this form FRM for form and Butler Zoo. No spaces. Okay. Now, I'm going to click off of there. And what it's doing is running through the program and finding all the instances of form 1, where it says form 1, and changing them to form Butler Zoo. But, you know, it still says form 1 BB design here, form 1. There's a problem. Let me go up and go to debug and start debugging. And it did run. So my form, let me minimize my IDE, Visual Studio, and you'll see that this form did actually run. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and close this. But however, if it hadn't run, one of the places to check would be under Project Splash Screen, which is the name of this project, the properties for that, and it wants to know which form, when this project runs, which form do you want to start first? So startup form, and right now it says form 1, but remember I changed that form to form butler.zoo. So if your program doesn't run, make sure you have the right form. If you change the name of the form, of the starting form, go in here to Project Properties, Startup Form, and make sure that you've got it set correctly. Okay. Okay, let me just, I'm going to go to the toolbox and click on that. And by the way, if these windows are messed up and I move them around and they're in different places and can't really find what I'm looking for, what I can always do is I can go to Windows and reset Windows layout. Are you sure you want to restore the default? Yes. And get it back to the way it was. Okay, so I want to go over here to Toolbox, and if I don't see that, I can go to View in Toolbox. But Toolbox, and I'm going to pin that down, Auto Hide. And let me go with the most common controls that are usually used. And I'm going to put a button on here. I'm going to put a label on here. I'm going to put a text box on here. Okay. Okay. How about if I go into the programming? I'm going to put a little bit of programming in here. I'm going to double click on the button and I'm going to say me dot close. There it is. Me dot close. Let me try that again. Me dot, there it is. I'm going to press the tab key, put the parentheses on the end, and let me see if that works. So I'm going to go to debug, start debugging, and it ran. Okay. I don't have any functionality in anything. I did put something in the button. Let's see what that does. I'm going to click on button 1 and it closes. So I told it to me close. And me is this particular project. Alright. or Windows Form. Okay, say I'm all done. I'm going to click Save All, and I'm going to close Visual Studio. I want to make sure, let's see, the name of it was Splash Screen. So I'm going to close Visual Studio. So let me close this. And then I'm using Windows. So I went to Windows Explorer, and under Documents I've got Visual Studio 2015, and in there under Projects I have my splash screen. Now I also downloaded my student data files, and I put a copy of those in there. So those are there. So chapter 1, if there's something in there that I need, I can always find that. But I copied and pasted those in there. Okay, but it's the splash screen that I wanted. Say next time I come into I want to work on the splash screen. Here's a quick way to get it started. See this .sln? Now if you don't see the .sln, you need to go change your so that you can see the dot file name for each one of your files. Let me see where for the version of Windows I'm using, let me click on View and check file name extensions. Okay, so make sure you've got that checked if you're using this version. Otherwise, there's another processor you need to use. But okay, so I've got that. I'm gonna go to Projects, and I'm done with it. So I need to compress this folder. Oh, by the way, if I wanted to run this again, what I could do is open this up and double click the .sln file, and it would bring it up in Visual Studio for me. Okay, but I'm done with this, so let me close this out. And what I want to do is I want to right click, and again, since I'm using Windows, I have a compression program built in, and I think it's been built in since Visual Studio 2010 or 2012. So and I'm going to send this to a compressed zip folder, and there it is. Now I may want to rename that and give it my name underscore, no spaces. Okay, and there I've got my completed project, if it were completed. And this is what I would submit. Okay, along with any comments about the assignment. All right, that's all for now.